Imagine a country that's been at the center of global politics for decades.
On top of an already collapsed economy.
A country that's seen war, bloodshed, and regime change. Welcome to Syria, a country at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa. After over 5 decades of rule, Bashar al-Assad's regime has fallen. But what does this mean for Syria's future? And how will it impact the region? I am Gunjan Handa, and let's dive into this episode of Chronicle Explained. To understand the current situation in Syria, it's essential to look at the historical roots of the conflict. The Syrian civil war began in 2011 as a part of the Arab Spring movement that swept across the Middle East. The uprising against Bashar al-Assad's regime was driven by demands of democracy, freedom, and human rights. However, the conflict quickly escalated into a full-blown civil war, with various factions and countries getting involved. The Assad regime relied on a mix of patronage, coercion, and sectarian balancing to maintain power. The regime's brutal suppression of the uprising led to the rise of extremist groups like ISIS and al-Qaeda. The complex web of alliances and rivalries between different factions and countries has further complicated the conflict. Russia and Iran have been key supporters of the Assad regime, while the United States, Turkey, Saudi Arabia have backed various rebel groups. The involvement of these regional and global powers has turned the Syrian conflict into a proxy war. The humanitarian impact of the conflict has been devastating. Over 500,000 people have been killed and more than 12 million have been displaced. The conflict has also led to destruction of infrastructure, including homes, schools, and hospitals. But what is happening in Syria now? In a significant development, Syrian fighters have named Mohammed al-Bashir as the caretaker prime minister. Al-Bashir, a Syrian engineer and politician, has been serving as a minister of the Syrian Salvation Government. Recently, Israel seized land in Syria near the occupied Golan Heights, sparking condemnation from Qatar, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. Israel plans to create a sterile defense zone inside Syria's southern border, while Turkey bombs Kurdish targets in North Syria. Iran condemned Israel's incursion as a violation of the law, calling it flagrant violation of the United Nations Charter. Russia has reiterated its support for Assad, providing refuge to the ousted president. As HTS establishes itself in Syria, the country's future remains uncertain. The rise of an Islamist government in Damascus marks a radical departure from Syria's secular past. The geopolitical aftershocks will be felt for years as regional and global powers recalibrate their strategies. Syria's post-Assad reality is fraught with uncertainty. One thing is clear, however: the fall of Bashar al-Assad marks a watershed moment in Syria's history. Thanks for watching. I am Gunjan Handa, and this is the Asian Chronicle.